Hey, tada! This is the Mastermind, and welcome to the Hot Seat. As you know, on the Hot Seat, we interview ordinary South Africans that are doing extraordinary things. My guest today, she's an actress, she's a TV presenter, she is a mother, she's a wife as well. She's also married to a pastor. I don't know if a lot of people knew this, but she's also married to a pastor. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about, most of you guys know her as Sthoko on Skeem Saam, but her name is Innocent. She's already here, she's waiting for us. We're gonna have a chat with her. It's not gonna be your normal interview whereby it's like Q&A. We're just gonna have a conversation about her life, her career, uh, what she's been up to during the COVID 19, and how has that affected her as well. So yeah, Innocent.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Are you out?
Thanks for being a
Let me try
mother.
and move like this. Okay, yeah. There you go. The light is better
P-
from this way.
yeah, thanks for being a mother. Ne?
Yeah, I've been trying to get rid of her.
She doesn't want it. Ngiyabona nje. She doesn't want.
Are you well? Are
How
you
are you?
well? I'm well,
I'm
thank
good.
you.
I'm
I'm
so
blessed
so
and
good.
highly favored.
Wow, that is the phrase that I used to use when I was still working for a certain company. I used to say every
Hmm.
time I used to say I'm blessed and highly favored. You
Yeah,
have to be blessed and highly favored. I mean, you're still
absolutely.
alive, so we have to be grateful. Now, we're just gonna have a conversation. It's not gonna be your
Okay.
normal Q&A,
Hmm.
whereby it's just we're just gonna have a conversation and just to get to know you better. Get to know the
Yes.
side that a lot of people don't know. You're married
Yeah.
to a pastor.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, I am.
wow. How,
When
how
I
did
when
that
I
come
married
about?
him, when I married him, actually he was not a pastor, right? When I married him, he was
Um,
just like a guy, like a normal guy who I just liked, who liked me, and then I liked him back, and then we got married. When I was 22, he was 27, and this was 10 years ago. And we started dating when I was 19, I think. Yeah, 19, we started dating. And so 5 years into our marriage, I think, yeah, because it's 5 years, yeah, 5 years
oh,
into our marriage, when he turned 30, he said he's
yes.
launching his ministry. He's always wanted to be in ministry, and he's always known that he's got a calling. I mean, we used to have conversations like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one thing that we shared in common is that we both so in love with God, and then I mean, I met him in church,
Yeah.
and that we both wanted to be in ministry. But now for me, like I mean, I'm a preacher myself, but I'm more like a
Mm-hmm.
traveling evangelist or like a traveling minister. That's what I love, and that's what I believe God called me for. And so I've always made it very clear to him gore a se nna moruto la gore ke santse gore ke be kerekeng ke be le le congregation and all of that. And so when he turned 30, he was like, he's launching him. He was like, what? He literally just left. He went to Venda. And when he came back to
Yeah.
Venda, he started having a meeting. King, ucho the secret powers go Venda. Over what's happening? You can't just go to Venda and come back and you say you're having a church. But
Yes.
he was having meetings with his pastors in Venda, and they decided it's time for him to start ministry. And that same month, the church started. That same month, and
Wow.
now 7 years. It's now 7 years later, and yeah, it hasn't been easy, but yeah,
Wow. This thing that you mentioned when you're telling that story, I mean,
yeah,
22, society has
yes.
made it clear that, hey, Salimunyan, 22, 20, 25. Did you feel pressure to get married because of the background, their church, and everything
Mm-hmm,
else, and because you guys are dating already, or it
mm-hmm,
was just that you were ready and you were just saying, I wanna settle down with this guy.
mm-hmm. Ah, Yeah, that's a tough question. I never thought of that.
Yeah.
All right, number one, what I knew is that I loved him. Okay, and that was
Yes.
important for me. And so when you asked me for my hand in marriage, I thought to myself, well, I love him. Isn't that enough? Like love is enough, you know? I mean, I did think of the fact that and I was like, Ish, what am I doing? You know, like this is too
Yes.
early. But at the same time, I was like, I need to trust what I'm feeling, and he's
Mm-hmm.
trusting what he's feeling. And also, I mean, having a common belief helps, you know. We both believe in the same thing. We believe in the covenant of marriage. So I don't think it's pressure from church. It's just that us at that point, we felt that that's the right thing for us to do. And I didn't think twice. I don't remember thinking, "Ere ko fe a weekend a weekend I don't remember ever saying that. I remember just saying yes. When? And then he said, on the 10th of, he said they're gonna come and pay lobol. Actually, when he told me, I thought because he was like, yeah, I'm getting married this year. I was like, oh, okay, who are you getting married to, you know? He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, to you. I'm like, me, why would you want to get married to me? Like, I'm crazy, who wants to get married to me? And then
Yes.
on that same day, he literally gave me a date. He said, we are coming to your house on the 10th of April. That was 2010. And on the 10th of April was the day I was actually graduating, and they were there. Alright, got it 10th April, and I was getting lobola on that day. And on the 21st of August that year was my traditional wedding, and then on the 23rd of October that year was our white wedding.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
amazing. That is so, so
And by the
amazing.
way, getting married young is actually a good thing. You know, like a lot of people say in Maraganjale, because I've got a lot of friends who get married now in their 30s and they've got so many problems. And I've seen a lot of advantages about getting married young because to start with, you both have nothing. You get everything together, you build
Mm.
together everything that you have. And so there's so much that you hold on to, there's so much that you treasure. You learn each other's personality. Unlike Umita Motunal 35, 36, or 37,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
so matured already. They've already achieved so much in their lives. They've got a certain way of doing things. They've got a system in the way they're doing things. They don't want to change. It's like this thing you just saw that
Mm.
edge, and no one wants to compromise between the two parties. I'm doing this. This is how I spend my money. You know. Whereas when you grow up together, you're figuring things out. You are growing. You're still immature. You mature within the marriage. You make decisions within the marriage, and so that's exactly what happened with me and my husband. We sort of like figured everything out together. Sorry, let me just switch off my phone. Whew. Roman, ke bazalwane.
Ba phone. Ba batla
Bazalwane.
mirapel.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I
Okay.
told you, me, I'm not that girl. But you know, through the grace of God, God has helped me
Yeah.
to be able to handle this burden that I never thought I'll be able to handle. I can't do it by myself, but with the guidance of the Holy Spirit, I'm able
Definitely.
to do it. But yeah, so basically
Wow.
that's our little backstory. I mean, it's nice getting married young, like that, and this is the man that you know, like le a rutana bophelo gona moo. Unlike motho o tla ka
Yes.
di-experience tsa gagwe, like they've got so much experience, you've got so much experience, you bring the baggage. It's like you've got a house there, he's got a house there. It's like really we have to stay in my house. He's like we have to stay in my house. You know, there's just so many complications. But I don't think anything is impossible. I think if the time is right, things work out for good. So anything works out. But
Yeah.
for me, it's been very beneficial. I'm actually grateful to my husband. I said to him, "Thank you so much for marrying me when I was young. Because where would I be? Phela nna ke tswa Mamelodi, ngoyena Mamelodi. Can you imagine all those Nyaope boys? What experiences would I
Hey.
have had in my life? I'm like, me, marriage saved me. Ke leboga Modimo, because of the longer you single, the truth of the matter is that how many heartbreaks are you going to have? How many people are you going to date within that time? You know, and I understand our timelines are all different. Modimo re blessa
Yes.
all in our different times, you know. But I'm eternally grateful because I can see other people's experiences and everything that they go through in the journey of trying to find love, of trying to find a partner, of trying to find a commitment. It's hard. It's not
Yes.
easy. And I'm like, yo, I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to pray. I didn't have to fast. I didn't have to do any of that. God just blessed me, and I'm grateful for that. So I look at it as a blessing more than, like a negative thing.
Anything else? Wow,
Yeah.
you just said something so profound about that getting married young. You get to learn each other. when you meet someone, hasa hudile, it's hey, there's a lot of complications, and that's so true. We're seeing it happening every
Yeah.
day, yes, around us, and at that point, I mean, you're just saying, okay, we are getting married. What are the parents saying? One, two. After you just saying, okay, I can enjoy, yeah, boom, he drops a bombshell of a church.
Yo, it was a lot. So, firstly, my family, ne? So I was raised by my
Yes.
grandmother and my grandfather. So I remember, but my grandfather was passed by then. So I remember telling my grandmother really, really, really loved my husband. Kapila ga ka moka, like it was like crazy. When I told her, she was like, "Oh, okay, no, that's fine." I was like, "What? It's fine? Are you sure?" So it was not an issue from my side. And again, my husband, before he proposed marriage to me, he came to Venda. There's something about Venda. I don't understand what. So he came to for a meeting called Venda. I'm like, okay. So obviously his family was fine with it. I had
Yeah.
not met them before. I didn't know any of them by that time. I had met the brother who was the younger brother, but I was not too familiar with the family. And so yeah, I mean we basically just took it from there. And everything was literally just quick, 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 quick. April, August, October, it was done. And yeah,
Wow.
so the biggest bombshell for me was the ministry. I'll be honest with you, because
Yes.
you
Yes.
don't realize what kind of a responsibility it is until you have it. It's
Mm,
not as easy as just saying "Rutoma Kreke." I mean, the one Sunday you have one person, the one Sunday you have 50 people, the one Sunday you have 100 people. Nobody prepares you for the psychological challenges that come along. There is no
and you
school, even if
young.
you go to Bible and young. Even if you go to Bible school,
Mm,
I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for ministry. I can
yes.
attest to
I
that
agree.
after all these years. My goodness, like I feel like if you don't have God, be like, yeah, it's just God who can make you go through this journey. One, you need to have unconditional love like no other. You need to love people so much, whether they there or they are not there. People come and
Yes.
people go. You nurture them, you love them, you help them grow spiritually, and the next thing, boom, they're not coming to church anymore. You've invested your time, your efforts, your prayers. You're waking up with this person ka 12 umorapedisha for many things, and then all of a sudden they don't even have the decency to say goodbye. And that is ministry. Ministry is like that. You build a legacy, or you build something great, and the next thing, the people that you trust, the people you started with, they are not there. Like I'm saying, the inconsistencies, no one prepares you for that. You used to a
Yes.
church of a certain number of people, and then one day, if there's a call front in Basel, and you feel like, oh man, I'm not going to church, I'm staying in bed. You'll be the only one with your
Yeah.
husband there, cooking, understand that. And whether you're sick,
Yes.
whether you're not sick, Tonya, it's raining. You as Mamrut the pastor, you are there every Sunday. It doesn't matter. I don't
Wow.
remember ever missing church because I'm sick. There's no such thing. The only time I miss church is because I'm working, or I'm out of town, or I'm out on a business trip, or whatever, or a shoot, whatever. That's the only time. Other than that, every Sunday, blue, purple, green, uswanetse go ba gona there. And every time you see someone, you need to love them, you need to forgive them. You can't remember gore motho ga sa tse kerekeng for the past 4 weeks, or ga sa die responsibility ya gago for the past 4 weeks. No, you must still greet them, hug them, and be like, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you, Sister Mang Mang. Oh, Brother Mang Mang. Oh, it's such a blessing to have you, in our midst."
Yes.
And that's how ministry is. And I think something like this can really have a toll on you when you married, especially when you are young. Because another thing is that people don't take people who are young seriously, especially in
Yes.
ministry. So that's another thing. But try okay, Murutu tshwanetse go ba a very big pastor, a be le mokhaba, and a very thick voice, and he must be in his 50s, 60s, 70s. And that's the kind of thing that they are used to. That's what they want to see. And now when you come and then you are young, nobody understands that. Nobody wants to listen to you because you don't have enough experience. But why can you have a doctor who's 22, and you can have a doctor who's 25, but you can't have a pastor who's 25? In any other
Yes.
profession, it's acceptable. In any other space, it's acceptable for a business person. Like right now, I was speaking to my brother-in-law because we're in Venda now just for 2 days. But I was speaking to my brother-in-law. He's younger than me, but he was telling me, so he runs a business. He was like, most of my employees are in their 50s and whatever, and I'm only in my 20s. And so but I'm still managing them. I'm running the business. But what I'm saying is that it's okay in any other space for people to be older, but not in the to be younger, but not in the church. In the church, they don't
Not in
accept you.
church, yeah.
They don't feel like you are good enough. But it's not about the age; it's about the calling. Because it doesn't matter how
Yes.
big a pastor can be, it doesn't matter how strong their voice can be, or how big Mukawawa. But if they don't have the calling, they've got nothing. People will live empty every single Sunday. So at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we need to realize that many are called, but few are chosen. And this is where Christians need to pray and have a discerning spirit and to say, God, is this my spiritual mom or my spiritual dad? And that's another thing altogether. We're actually speaking about it with my husband. Kere, let's discuss
Yes.
this spiritual mother, spiritual father. Why do we even have that? What kind of responsibility do we have? If you call somebody your father, ke papa how kama baka amafing. What
Yes.
have they done in your life? What role are they going to play for you? There's nothing wrong with a spiritual father and a spiritual mother, but what role are you willing to play as a mother into their life? Because you cannot just be their father only on Sundays. Being a father is a huge responsibility. It's a big responsibility. And if you say spiritually, that means you need to be standing in the gap for them spiritually. You need to be praying for them day and night. You need to take
Yeah.
care of their well-being. So you cannot just claim people in the spirit and not do the work. You need to put in the work. You need to put in the time to seek the face of God on their behalf and say, God, I'm praying for my daughter, I'm praying for my child. And also love them with an unconditional love. Also forgive them. Just as Christ forgives us, just as you can forgive your own child, who's your flesh and blood. Ngwanaka wa ka dia whatever today. Go sa sa o tshwanetse gore o mo forgive. In fact, to live it because it moves on. So that is what being a father and a mother is. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a huge
Yeah.
responsibility. And when you are loving them in the name of the Lord, you also need to love them with a Christ-like love. And that's a lot of responsibility. You need to be okay first. You can't preach Christ when you don't have Christ in you. You can't be an
Amen.
offspring of the Creator if you don't have that in you. So it's very difficult for you to just speak things just because they sound powerful or they seem powerful. That's not good enough. So if I know I'm not capable of being a mother, I don't expect people to call me a mother. I just want people to just call me innocent because that's who I am.
Yes.
And whatever burden that God can put for me, I know He'll give me provision for it. I know He'll prepare the ground for me. I know He'll prepare the space for me. I don't have to worry about that. And it also took spiritual maturity to understand what this ministry is not ours. The church is not ours. It's
Yeah.
God's. The people are not ours. We don't own anyone. We didn't give birth to them. We don't know their purposes, their visions, and their dreams. It's God's people. And you need to understand that even as you stand as a vessel of God, you need to say, Morena, it's not me who's standing here. You're just using me. So the people who say they love you, they need to see you through me. I don't need to justify myself. I don't need to sell myself. But you who have called me, your flock, they will know you. They will know your voice, even as I speak. If if they truly claim that they know God, then they'll be able to see God through me. Those are the things that you shouldn't worry about. Even if it's two people, those people are meant to be there to hear the word of God that you're about to speak into their lives. God gives provision for everything that He speaks. Even in the book of Exodus, today I was reading, when I was reading the word, He says that I will release bread from heaven in abundance to fall on you. That means bread speaks of provision. Bread speaks of, even the Bible says in the book of Psalms, give us this day our daily bread. Meaning, I'm the
Yeah.
one who will give you provision each and every day. And so it's not us who will give them provision, it's God. It's not us
Yes.
who will fill them up, it's God. So you just have to be obedient. That's all. When I know about obedient to me, that's it. I don't owe people anything. I owe God to be obedient and I allow God to use
Yes.
me. That's it.
You
Tse
you
ding
you
tse
spoke
Modimo o tla di bona.
you spoke a mouthful, uh, and it's just amazing how fruitful and how much you've learned in terms of the ministry and what the ministry has
Yeah.
done for you. Now, in terms of your career,
Mhm.
um, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, here's a call that you get from your agent or your manager says, you have got a role to play. This is the
Mhm.
role. You're supposed to
Yeah.
do one, two, three, four. Do you
Yes.
consult your husband first? Do you consult
Mhm.
God? And have you declined any role?
I have declined a lot of things. I have declined a lot of things. I'll be honest with you, but for many reasons, right? First, let me start with
Yeah.
with the different roles when it comes to my husband. My husband, I think God is so faithful because he understands completely the kind of industry that I am. I mean, he's also in the entertainment industry, but behind the scenes, you know. So when I met
Yes.
him, he had worked for ETV for many years, although now he's running his own things, but he sort of understands and he's okay with it, and I consider myself blessed for that. I mean, I've taken a lot of roles. I've been, you know, when you're a beautiful female, like I consider myself beautiful, by the way, because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, but
You are
people
definitely.
will always give you a husband in the stories. They give you a boyfriend, they give you whatever.
Hey.
Those roles
Yeah.
are there. It's real. You face them. And for me, it's work, right? I don't attach anything to it. And a lot of people who did not study drama or whatever, they won't understand it. So I don't really bother trying to explain it a lot. I always say, as long as my husband is fine with it, I move on. I don't worry about the congregation. I don't worry about who's gonna say what. I don't worry about mang, mama mang, papa mang. Eh, oh, my husband, if is fine with something, it's a tick. It's a green. It's a green light for me. That's what I do. And so I've played a lot of roles. I've dated girls, right? In a movie that I shot, I dated a girl. Can you believe it? I did, yeah. And so, and I've been married to many husbands. I've been divorced. I've been whatever. No, check but it's acting at work, you know. It's in the same way that someone can say a gynecologist who's a Christian, who's helping women give birth every day. It's like, oh, so you look at women naked. Yes, it's his job to help women give birth, and it's a gift and it's a
Yes.
calling. You know, in the same way that God has put me where He put me, it's a calling. That's what God has predestined me for. That's what God has called me for. That's the gift that God has given me for. So, but again, there are many roles that I've turned down where I say, well, okay, even though this is just acting, but this is outside of what I believe in. This is going to,
Yes.
you know, where something is going to destroy you. We understand it will destroy spirituality, destroy. It's not worth it. You know, there's many offers
Yeah.
that have come to the table and it was just not worth it. You know, the main objective of doing this is not for me to sell my soul to the devil, but it's for me to grow. It's for me to be great. It's for me to make great the kingdom of God. I need to add on that. I need to make sure that through what I do, people see the greatness of God. So I cannot, through what I do, bring shame to the kingdom of God. So I need to weigh my options to say, if it's God who has opened doors for me, they are benefiting who I am and they're
Yes.
contributing to my brand. That's it. So my husband, not my husband is chilled. My husband, God said he is the head of my house. So that I shall follow. That's it. And it says, submit to your own husband. So I don't consult with other
Mm.
people. So I listen to God's voice and my husband. Finish and clear.
And it also comes with being vendor. There's something about vendoring. I'm also vendor.
No way.
Very.
Are you serious?
Yeah. We're
Wow.
very calm. I don't know whether it's the background and everything. Very
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
And
very
loving.
understanding.
Yo, wow, yo.
Yeah. Now, with the role that you play right now on Skeem Saam, how difficult was it at first? Because I mean, you coming in, you given a script, you have to play this role of being in an abusive relationship. How much did it, for lack
Yeah.
of a better word, tax you emotionally? And how do you prepare for such a role? Did you get that? You know, uh, the network is a bit bad.
I
Are
think
we
he's back
back?
now, though. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool. Did you get the question?
Not really. So I actually want to move to just charge my laptop. But yes, you can repeat the question, please.
All right. Now saying,
Mm-hmm.
you're playing this role and on Skim
Yes.
Sam, and here
Mm-hmm.
you are. You're coming in. You're playing in a. I mean, you are in an abusive relationship. How
Yes.
much did it for lack of a better word, tax you emotionally, and how do you prepare for
Oh,
such a role?
man, that was not easy. That was very hard because you don't wanna, it's a
Mm,
abuse is a very sensitive thing, and you don't wanna do an injustice to it because somebody who's been abused, somebody who's really been abused, and or family members who have lost women and children or whoever it might be through abuse, you don't need to watch it and be like, oh my gosh, this is a mockery. What are these people
mm,
trying to do? You need to make sure that you are bringing it. It's believable, it's real, and it's true. And also for me as a woman, putting myself in those shoes, it really felt
yes,
like I'm a victim of abuse. It's hard for you, it's emotionally draining. I remember when I was doing that storyline, I was emotionally drained. I was tired. I was tired of crying. I used to have a headache every single day because for me, I know how to cry, so I don't use tear stick. Ne? So now,
yes.
if I have to cry the whole day, yo, I used to have the most terrible headache.
Mm,
I was so stressed. I was so down. Sometimes I'd get home and emotionally I'm drained because I feel so
yes,
sad. Because with emotional scenes, it's difficult to tap out of them. I mean, you can, but it's difficult to just like tap out of it. You know what I mean? And so, yo, it was hard. How I prepared for it is that I spoke to a lot of abuse victims. Getting like a background stories, what they went through, what they felt, what the emotional stress did to them. And so the more you hear it, the more you are able to build a reference character around that. And you sort of know how it plays out and how you are going to interpret that into, whatever role that you play. But it was very hard. I like
yes,
rata
it
joy.
is.
I just want to be happy. I want people to be happy. So and somehow in this emotional roles, Jan Rata, I'm just like, ugh, guys. I just want to be happy. They are draining. They really are draining. They can be too
Yeah,
much. Yeah, they can really be too much. But it's okay. It is what we do, and we need to embrace it and be glad that God has blessed us with what He has blessed us with.
wow. How long have you been on the production, and do you, do you see yourself moving away from the production? And
Mhm.
I'm gonna put you in the spot right now. Which
Yes,
which production do you look at it and you're like, wow,
I
if
want to
only I
be.
could play that role. Yes.
I've been with Bo Communications, which is the production company for Skeem Saam for 5 years because I've been there since 2016. So
Yes.
it's 2020 now, yeah. So about 4.5 years or so. And I mean, look, I'm not gonna. We all want things in life. We all have our dreams
Mm,
and so
mm,
many things that we want to be a part of. I think if I wouldn't choose a specific role, but if I had to choose like a soapie or like a drama series, it would probably be Movango. I really love it. I love the way in which the story is shot, the stories, the narratives, the people, the characters. I've always resonated with it. I mean, it's always been like my dream. So I remember when I learned Venda, because I'm not Venda, obviously, Kimopedi. So
mm.
Mara, I've always loved Venda. I learned Venda when I got married. I'm passionate about the language. I speak to my kids in Venda. And so I love it. And I just love the way it's constructed, just everything. So yeah. But God, if you want to bless me, open that door for me. So
I
that's
think it's
that's just
coming.
what Amen.
I
I
think it's
receive it.
coming.
I receive it.
Yeah, I think it
I
is.
receive it.
And you spoke about you being passionate about the language, and we've got
Hmm.
about 11 official languages. We
Hmm.
can add 12 with sign language and all.
Yes.
Um, how many languages do you speak, and how much has that played in your career?
Yo. Let me answer the first. How much has it played? It has played a huge role in my career. Every single work that I've done, it's because I am multilingual in the industry that we're in, or let me just say,
Yeah.
in the time that we live in now, where our
Yes.
country is trying to embrace Africanism, where we're trying to
Mm,
uplift Black people. Vernac has become the go-to language. SABC1 is primarily Zulu, Isindebele, or Xhosa. It's Nguni
yes.
languages. Every single soapy drama series, it's 80% of an African language. And so if we're not uwatwenga fela, you're not gonna work. You're going to wait until go tla some series e leng gore ke a makgowa, ke tsebe gore ke e jwang yona eo.
You'll
But
have problems.
you have serious problems. Every single script that I receive or brief that I receive from my agents, they're asking for a language. Can you speak an African language fluently? And I remember when I auditioned for Skeem Saam, they said we're looking for somebody who knows how to speak Zulu fluently and knows how to speak Pedi fluently because uMaNtuli ukhuluma Zulu and usiakamela ke Mopedi. So go raya gore go bola le bo mma o santse o bolele Zulu, go bola le batho ba bang, whoever around you must speak Pedi. So regular audition, I remember I spoke both the languages, right? So as part of my audition script, and obviously that worked, and I got the role. But shoo, so the language I'm able to speak, so uko kwami umNdebele, khuluma isiNdebele
Oh,
udla umratha, khuluma isiNdebele number one, ke bolela Sepedi number two, ek praat Afrikaans. Tegnologie is die verantwoordelik gebruik van kennis, vaardighede en bronne om te voldoen aan menslike behoeftes. So ek praat baie mooi
hey.
Afrikaans. That's number three. Obviously, I speak English, right? And
Yeah.
then what else? I'm trying to think. So Sotho ke a bua Sotho, ke tshwanetse gore ke se bue, ke a se bua. Hela hela. But I mean, I'm not fluent in it, but if I have to speak it, close bolela. And then I'm trying to learn Tsonga. My dad was Tsonga, but he never raised me, so there's a whole Tsonga side of my. So I need to learn that language. So I can say properly, fluently, I can speak 5 languages, and learning maybe
Wow.
two, three. Mm,
That's amazing. That's
mm,
amazing. And in the industry that you are in, there's a lot
mhm.
of uh, uh, I'll say rumors because
Yes.
it's never been proven, and no one has ever come out and say this is what is happening, and or maybe provided proof on what is happening. There's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of uh, uh, let me say right now we are fighting
Mm-hmm.
gender-based violence, and
Yes.
there's a
My
lot of
goodness.
ladies that are coming out and saying so and so has done this to me, and when you following up the story after 3 months or so, you don't go anywhere. No one has ever gone to the court or maybe gotten arrested. Um, do you think a lot of people that are doing that are getting away with it, and what can be
Yes,
done to stop that?
man. Such a sensitive topic, but it's so real, especially in our industry. I feel like men get away with so much. You've got directors, producers, executive producers who are males who take advantage of young, vulnerable girls who are trying to get into the industry. They take advantage that you're desperate, all you want is to be on television. They will sleep with you, they will molest you, and promise you the world, promise you A, B to Z. And at the end of the day, that doesn't happen, but they've taken advantage of you. Fine. Then you get those ones that are actually working in the industry. You get to work, you get taken advantage of. Every male figure who's superior thinks that they've got, a right to either touch you, talk to you inappropriately, or do things that are inappropriate. I mean, we're living in a time where it's a mess. If you're a woman and you can't talk for yourself, you don't have a backbone, you're not strong enough, you are doomed. If you, I mean, and I feel like with a lot of instances also being married, I feel like it helped because when you say you married, people just look at you, oh, why? People are not interested in you for some reason. But also, that doesn't mean that I haven't experienced things in this industry, but it's a mess. It's a mess. And how I think it can be stopped, I don't think it can be stopped, but I think that it's a work in progress.
Are
I
we
think
back?
that we could like take it one step at a time. We could,
I lost you a bit
one.
there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You back now. So one of the reasons also, my daughter's asking me something. Yes, what do you want? Ask Papa. But I'm doing an interview. Eh, ka J card yanga hapo. Hey, Becky yanga ka J card. By the way, I'm in Venda. Did I tell you?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Wow, I was about to ask you something about the vendor, but I'll get to that.
So, and so, you need to be strong-willed. You need to have a background. But one of the things also I was speaking about in church, I said we need to also pray about it. I see that we're campaigning about it, we're protesting, can do whatever, but we also need to stand in prayer. We need to stand firm. We need to know that we have a huge responsibility when it comes to fighting this
Yes.
spiritual battle. This is our time to put on the full armor of God and get ready to fight this even spiritually. Because as much as we are going to do something about it and protest and whatever, we also need to know that this is a warfare. You know,
Yes.
you understand? Whereas like a good man can do something. I'm thinking, guys, what kind? What I mean, every single second a woman is being killed, every single minute. I mean, things like that. That is just for me. It's ridiculous. There's no such thing. And some battles, the Bible says this battle is not mine, but it's of the Lord. So that's why for me, I'm saying one of the solutions for us is definitely to pray about it, to cry to God, to say, God, we are asking for an end and a stop to this. Secondly, production companies need to be more firm in the way they do things. You need to know what's happening in your production. You need to know
Yeah.
how people are being treated, how employees are being treated, how people are getting their jobs. Do you have a proper system of casting? Do you have a casting director? How is the process of casting? Who is the one who's signing off? Are people really talented, or are they getting jobs because they slept with someone? So you need to know what's going on in your production. And women also need to start being brave. They need to start talking. But the problem is sometimes it's overlayla, and at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to get fired from work, not your
That's the
co-actor.
thing.
I mean,
That's the thing.
sometimes people look at you and blame you for things that you didn't even do. So unfortunately, in the time that we're living in, you must know you are standing at risk of losing many contracts just because you exposed someone.
Yes.
Because they too are
Um,
gonna try and fight you. They too are gonna try and try and get back to you by making you lose your job, by making you lose your contracts. And so that is the most unfortunate part about it. But you know what, we it's that's just the kind of situation that we're in, and we just need to be patient with the process. And this is why more women need to be um, getting, more women have to be given platforms, more women have to be put in executive positions, more women have to be producers and directors. We need to take up space. We need to take these positions. No one said ki position ya munna. One understand that, because then at the end of the day, we wait for them to hire us. You can hire women as well. What's the problem with that? So we
yeah.
just need to be empowered. We need to take back our power. We need to know that we are great, we are powerful, we've got the same intelligence, we are capable of doing exceedingly and abundantly above. We need to know that we are the Esthers of this generation, we are the Deborahs of this generation, we are the Abigails of this generation, we are the Elizabeth of this generation. It's been there, it's biblical. We see powerful and strong women who are able to do great and mighty things, who are able to stand in front of armies, in front of multitudes, who are strong. And God is saying, but you too can do that. You too can be used, mighty woman. You too can do great and amazing things. Why are you afraid? Why can we not be bold? Why can we not be confident? Why can we not take things? Richaba eng, we can do it. We are capable of doing that. And a lot of women, I'm proud of women who are strong and brave enough to take it on and not being afraid. So, but we're getting there. It's slow, but we're getting
Yeah.
there slowly.
Now, slowly but surely, and I'm glad
Yeah,
you
yeah.
addressed that, because I wanted to hear your perspective, especially you're in the industry, and it's gonna bring me. You spoke about production, and you
Hmm.
have your 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 own production
Yes.
with your other. I can't say other
Hmm.
half. You guys
With
look
my
the
heart.
same.
Yes, we do. Mhm.
Send Twins
Yes,
TV, ne? Is it Send Twin
yes, that's
TV?
correct. You are correct.
Um, how, how did that come about? I mean, a lot of siblings or twins
Hmm.
do they are this they might be identical, but they
Hmm.
do different things. But you guys are
Yes.
kind of doing the same thing, you know. How did that
Yeah.
come about, and how's it like working with your sister? And your sister is your manager, right?
Yes. So basically,
Yeah.
we had like a PR company that's sort of managing us, but we let them go this year. So she's actually managing my ministry staff, right? And then my husband is managing more of my work in the industry, because sometimes it gets too confusing, and it gets too much. So I've sort of like taken away the ministry bookings from my husband and given it to my sister, because it's a lot. It's just, it gets crazy. Trust me, it does. Yeah. So, but yeah, so she is okay. So let me tell you about Century's collection and how it came about. So basically, we've
Yes.
always had ideas and visions, how we want to work together, how we want to build an empire, how we want to, build ourselves in the industry. We don't just want to be known as actors or presenters or content producers or influencers. We also want to be able to build our own platform where we can produce our own content, where we have the final say. Because when you're in this industry, you get told what to do, what to wear, how to wear it, how to talk, etc. And so it's very nice for you to sort of like have the experience on the other side where you get to call the shots. But I mean, we've always had the vision. We've always, I remember we started writing, producing, and directing theater plays back in 2007, I think, and at the State Theater, and we'd have them State Theater, Unisa Little Theater. We used to have plays all the time. And people would always be like, yeah, you guys need to write for television. We see you writing for theater. So we've always just had that love and passion. And so now we've decided to, to come back sort of like full force and be like, we're tired of writing proposals to channels where you never get feedback. There's a lot of people who've got great ideas, but you cannot depend on other people for your success. You cannot depend on other people for your own breakthroughs. Sometimes God puts all those things in your hand for you to do something. I'm not gonna wait for ETV or for SABC or for DSTV or for Netflix to respond to my 100 proposals. I mean, we've been sending proposals to channels for many years. But while you wait, do something. While you're waiting
Yes.
for those responses, be in the process of something. Yes, you might not have a budget for R1 million. The budget of 5,000 that you have, do something with that. And that's the kind of mentality that we had. We're like, there's a platform, here is YouTube. What can we do with the little money that we have? Let's do this. We've got so many shows, we've got so many concepts, but obviously, due to budget, we cannot do them. But we're like, let's think of things that we can do. Let's think of things that
Yes.
are within our capacity, and let's do that. And this is a good principle for life. While you wait for anything, do something. I always tell women who
Yeah.
are still waiting for marriage, I'm like, why are you waiting for your marriage or whatever? Write a book. While you're waiting for impact somebody, mentors, be someone's mentor, you know, um, um,
Mm.
um, um, do something great. And so that is exactly what we are pushing. We are saying what we have with the audience that we have, we're going to do something. With the resources that we have, we're going to do something. With the camera equipments that we have, we are going to do something. I mean, it's not easy funding your own productions.
Yes.
I must say, it takes a lot of patience, perseverance. You have to really love it. You need to have the passion, to do it. We literally need to strategize and say, okay, so we are about, like, for instance, now, we have a new show in our channel called Twin Talk. We're about to shoot season 2. It's one of those things where we say, okay, Millicent, what are we going to do now? This is our budget. We don't have any money. That means me and you have to split the budget. If our budget is going to be 30,000 to shoot this, that means you need to give me 15,000. I'm going to give you 15,000, and then we're going to shoot this production because it's our baby. You don't have funding, you don't have support, you don't have whatever. But at the end of the day, we need to make it happen. And that is exactly what we're going to do. And another thing why I love working with my sister is because she's a hard worker. She is consistent, she's persistent. She is. We share a lot of values in terms of work. We can work until 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. without an issue, without a problem. That's the kind of people that we are. If we set our minds on something, we're going to do it. She's not a procrastinator. She's very efficient, and so we get a lot of things done. I struggle to work with people who aren't efficient. I don't work well with people like that. And so me and my sister work very well together because we work like, I call it a machine. We could literally be editing. I mean, we shoot our own stuff, we edit our own stuff, we do everything, we do our pre-production, we do everything ourselves. So it's a lot of work, but it is what it is. We enjoy it. At the end of the day, you need to do what you love and love what you do.
Yes.
And that's how Saint Twins came about. It came about after sending hundreds and thousands of proposals to many channels to say, do we just wait or do we
Yes.
continue moving? And then we say we want to continue moving, and we're going to take advantage of this platform. Although even if it's monetized, the money is not that good. Remember, YouTube pays in cents, literally
Hey.
cents. So for you
Yeah.
to make money, you need to have millions and millions of views. So you don't even count that because it does nothing. That does
Exactly.
absolutely nothing. I was actually telling this lady who was saying, no, I want you guys to shoot my stuff. I was like, hey, when shoot with your phone, because you can't spend money on something you're not going to receive
Mm.
money. You need to be smart in
Exactly.
life. You understand? So YouTube because of chalete because you on 100 subscribers. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours for you to be monetizing your channel. And when you are
Yes.
monetizing your channel, you need thousands and thousands of views for you to even start making money. I was
Making
making an
money,
example
yeah.
with my own personal channel, right? Where I started posting my preachings. I'm on like 2,000 and something subscribers. My minimum watch video time, I don't know. So I was telling her, I'm like, so far on my channel, I think I've made 100 rand or 100 and something. And then she was like,
And people
no, you
won't
like,
believe
I'm like,
you.
yes. I was like, yes, because it's cents. They pay you in
Mm,
cents. So you cannot want to go and get a production company to shoot your content to put on YouTube, whereas it's 100 rand. Luhana, you're not gonna make it now because
mm,
you are still on 100 subscribers. You still have to qualify first to be monetized. So I was like,
exactly.
no,
Mm,
yeah.
wow.
So it's not
So
easy, but
identical in everything. Identical
yes,
in everything. That's so
absolutely,
amazing, man. Hearing you
absolutely.
speak
Thank
so
you.
deep and so amazing about your production and about your sister and your husband. You guys are working together. Now, we
Correct.
before we wrap it up, what's the
Mhm.
future for Twins TV? What's the future for Innocent? Uh, and what would you like to say to people that have played a role in your life?
Mhm. Wow. Sure. So, Saint Twins, the future for it is definitely more content. We've shot a lot of pilots, things that are still in the pipeline, and what I'm hoping is that we're able to get, the right support. Or you know what? Actually, we shouldn't depend too much on other people's support. You just need to do it yourself. So God just needs to
Mm,
bless us, and that we are able to visualize all our dreams to make sure that they become possible. All the show concepts that we have to make sure that they can play on St. Twins TV, that it can be a known productions, just like the Fergusons, just like your Tyler Perry Studios, that St. Twins is able to have. St. Twins Studios, St. Twins
mm,
Productions, that's able to do your soapies, your series, whatever the case might be. So that's definitely the future for St. Twins Productions and St. Twins TV. Secondly, for the people who have contributed to my life, I just want to say thank you for your patience. There's nothing as hard as being in the entertainment industry. You need patience. People can see you on one production, but you've been auditioning for many years. But people remain
yeah.
patient with you. They keep saying, "Oh, Raubona, thank you so much for making us proud.
Mm,
Thank you for putting us on the flag," right? And then they don't see you for the longest time, and you try to work your butt off. You try to make sure, yo, such a I need to do something
mm,
again. And so I just want to say thank you for your patience. Thank you to my husband for his patience because being in this industry, get audition, my husband takes me to almost 90% of my auditions. He's patient, he learns lines with me. My husband, whatever script come catch Skeem Saam because I learn lines with him. I'm like, babe, I'm
wow.
so tired because sometimes you work on so many things and then you get so tired. I'm like, please run lines with me. And he always runs
Yes.
lines with me. He's so understanding, he's so patient. My kids were so patient and the understanding. I literally shut my door and they want my attention. I'm like, I'm learning my scripts. I'm shooting, you know.
Yeah.
So everyone basically is patient with your progress. Everyone is patient with what you do. Everyone and they anticipate for your success. They anticipate for your greatness, and they wait because they just want a breakthrough in your life. They just want you to just make it. So it's patience. So that's what I would say. And even for anyone else who wants to do stuff in their life, they should never give up and they should work with what they have. Always work with what you have. You might not have the biggest studio, you might not have the biggest audience, you might not have the biggest followers, but you know what? The followers
Yes.
that you do have, that's enough. Make something out of it. The subscribers that you have, make use of them. You might only have 50 subscribers. It's fine. They are there for a reason. Those 50 subscribers, do something with that. You might only have 100 rand in your account. Do something with that 100 rand.
With
You might have
that.
only 10 rand. Do something with that. Whatever you have, do something with that. Do something with that.
Wow. Amazing stuff. Amazing. Lastly, lastly, And this is something that I've never done,
Yes,
but I feel it's important in South Africa. It's important
yes,
for blacks. It's important for any culture actually. In a minute, what advice can you
yes.
give um, young married couple, and also because you're a woman, so
Mhm.
advice to wives that are married to a young
Yes.
guy, and stuff. Yeah, just a minute.
Um, Definitely, I would say treasure what you have. Do not underestimate it. Marriage is a gift and it's a covenant from God. God has blessed you with it for a reason. God has given it to
Yes.
you for a reason. You need to make sure that you take care of it with your life. There are people who are 41, 51, 60, and 70 who do not have this beautiful thing called marriage, and God has blessed you with it. The Bible only gives us one instruction as women when it has to do with marriage. It says, submit to your own husband. That's all you have to do. You don't even have to love him. The Bible doesn't ask us to love our husband. He says to them, love your wife as Christ has loved the church. But he says to the women, we need to submit. There's so much blessings that come with submission. There's so much grace that comes with submission. There's so much favor that comes with submission. There's no one that you will submit to and humble yourself to that they will never love you back. When you submit to someone, they will love you back. You need to take your family and put them in your hand. You are the nurturer. You are the protector. You are the one, even if it means you are the only one who wakes up at night and prays for them. Yes, God has given you that responsibility to take care of them with all of your heart, to pray for them and to nurture them. There's a reason why God has made you to be the one that brings forth a generation into that family, for you to give birth, for you to carry a child. There's a reason for that, because God is saying, I trusted you with so much. I'm trusting you with carrying generations. I'm trusting you with carrying gifts. I'm trusting you with carrying greatness, because you have a fruitful womb. And God is saying, I am
Mm.
trusting you to get into a family and to build a legacy, to make a difference, to bring love, greatness, favor, and mercy. It's something you cannot underestimate. It's something you cannot take for granted. Other people don't have it. Other people are praying for it. That's why in the beginning I said, I didn't have to fast. I didn't have to pray for it. But you know what? Many
Yes.
people have to pray for it. Many people have to fast for it. Many people have to wait many years for it. I know people who've been trusting in God for it for 10 years, for 15 years, and they are still waiting. They are desperate for it. Now, when God has given it to you, why don't you treasure it? Why don't you take advantage of it? Why don't you be the best wife that you can be? Why don't you love your husband? Love him with all of your heart. Take care of him. I mean, God gave you only one husband. Why can't you massage his feet? God only gave you one husband. Why can't you
Mm.
cook for him? These are not three people that you need to take care of. This is one person that you need to love. This is one person that you need to give care to. Why don't you take care of them? And so my advice would be, love them, submit to them, show them that they are the head of the house. It is not you who made them the head, but it is God who has placed them there. When you honor them, you are honoring God. When you respect them, you are respecting God, because you are saying, God, because it's your covenant and because you saying this is what I need to do, I will do it, God, because you are the one who said I need to do it. So by loving him, you are loving God. By submitting to him, you are submitting to God. By following his word, you are following God's word. So I would say, love it and enjoy it. Enjoy every single moment. Do not be ashamed. A lot of women are ashamed. They're ashamed that they're wearing rings. They're ashamed that they are married. But no, that's not the case. Take care. And also, there are very small things that we underestimate, like families, immediate families, in-laws. Do not underestimate that. Don't listen to what people say, to say in-laws, hey, this and this and this. Don't get involved in dramas like that. Love them. At the moment, I'm in Venda. We surprised them yesterday, and I'm the one. I pushed my husband. I said, let's go to Venda, because I want your parents to enjoy seeing their grandkids just running around,
Mm.
not knowing what they do. And that's exactly what they're doing now. They are running around. My other child's like, "Ndindi kunya kuya thaba ni mall." I'm like, yeah, Vanna.
Mm.
She's the one who's asking, but I'm happy, because I'm like, I want them to see the more. This is our generation. This is our offspring. This is what God has blessed us with. This is what we have worked so hard for. We are able to do that. So take care of your in-laws. Love your husband's mother. You cannot love him and not love his mother. You cannot love him and not love his family. Where do you think your husband comes from? He didn't fall off a tree, Mos. Your husband comes from someone.
Mm.
So even if that those people don't love you back, it's fine. Love them with an unconditional love until they love you back. Respect them with an unconditional type of respect, if there's something like that, until they respect you back. Push yourself towards them. Be a woman of wisdom, of integrity. Fear God. Love God with all your heart. Those who trust in God, the Bible says He will renew their strength. They will mount up like wings of an eagle. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. And you need to trust and believe in that word, that this is what God has trusted me with. He will take me through it. He will help me with it. You are the vision bearer. You need to stand in the gap for your husband. You need to stand in the gap for your family. You need to stand in the gap for your children. You need to trust in God with all of your heart and lean not on your own understanding. So we have a big responsibility as women, but most importantly, show them. If you don't make them feel like they're the head of the house, no one else will. If you can make him feel like a king, no one else will. If you don't make him important, no one else will. So you need to make him. Your husband must be the most important person in the house. Your kids must know it. Your helper must. Everybody must know Urbona. The king has arrived, and he will make sure that he treats you like a queen in return.
Wow. So profound, so deep. There's nothing else that I'll add on top of that. Nothing else that I'll add. Only thing that I'll say right now, thank you very much. And thank you for making time for us. May God continue to bless you. May God bless your family and everyone that is just around you. And may He bless your production, everything that you have in future.
Oh, thank you so much. I received that. I appreciate it. And thank you for the incredible interview.
Thank you very much. Hey, have a lovely, 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 blessed, have a blessed and favored day.
Amen. You too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Wow, guys. Wow, that was deep. That was just amazing. What a way to kickstart season two. What a way to kickstart season two. We've got the blessings from Innocent. She's an amazing and incredible woman. She's an incredible actress as well, a businesswoman, man. I hope you guys are gonna learn a lot when this episode drops. Man, thank you very much. Thank you for being with me. It's at Darkie_radio across all social media platforms. At SA House Music Downloads across all social media platforms. Angaba nne ndi mwana wa muthibi mutulu wa nne malili tanje labo Isaac nabo Esther. Ndende.